What is this? What is this state we are in? It's a bit more silent, maybe. But is it actually any more silent? It's a choice to be silent, and recently, in a time anticipated as quieter, it's been quite the opposite. Our beings crave to fill any emptiness in front of us, but what if instead we make the choice to endure in the emptiness? In this current time, we are constantly questioning our safety and how we can possibly protect ourselves more. We tend to jump to any sort of armor we have around us. What happens if instead we are safer in the silence, in the emptiness, in the void of imagination? Maybe that is our armor. I took a walk down the street, choosing to move in silence. I did a little prance in the park, choosing to move in silence. I rode the tube to uni, choosing to move in silence. I was being moved by the Zeitgebers as I was receiving environmental cues to follow the urge of silence. To make the political choice of being silent. Digging back through my mind of all that we have explored this week, I remember the feeling that surfaced in my chest thinking of silence and emptiness the first day. I equated it with stillness, but now I see they don't always equate. The same way emptiness and nothingness are far from the same. When we sit in emptiness and silence, we sit with everything we would otherwise be escaping. We're forced to hold any thoughts or feelings inside and let them slowly simmer down. As we release these ideas, whether they are realistic or imaginary, we begin to feel the physicality of our thoughts. And with that, we can tune into the energy at its most fundamental levels. When we begin to question reality and wonder if maybe everything around us is actually an illusion or simulation, what people find to be real is our perception of what occurs. Perhaps realness is the energy something holds or creates. Realness is the energy instilled on something else. Realness can be equated to energy. Perhaps then we can define both emptiness and fullness as real, because at its core, emptiness is the release of energy and fullness is rather the containment of energy. And then the next question is, can emptiness and fullness coexist? I say yes. I took a walk down the street, moving in silence. I did a little prance in the park, moving in silence. I rode the tube to uni, moving in silence. This emptiness seemed to have more possibility than when it's loud. The silence began to be filled with my presence, even with the lack of verbality. And in a state where there is no output, everything that lived within me began to settle, settling to a place of just existing. Perhaps existing is the place between fullness and emptiness, between excess and scarcity. Perhaps the goal of the empire we have been imagining all week is to see the power of living between these three realms, between emptiness, existing, and fullness. This is our empire, using silence as armor, using silence as power. Both emptiness and fullness are real. Emptiness is the release of energy, and fullness is the containment of energy. A silent walk down the street, a silent prance in the park, a silent tube ride to uni. Feeling the power of allowing emptiness and fullness to coexist. Because emptiness seems to have more possibility than fullness. Silence can still have presence. And in a state where there is no output, everything begins to settle, settling to a place of just existing. This empire challenges us to live between three realms, between emptiness, existing, and fullness. This is our empire, using silence as power, using silence as armor.